So this is, we love to say, the world's first sauna serum.
Amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
yes. But, so yeah, it's jojoba oil, rosehip sunflower seed oil, rosemary extract, clary sage, and grapefruit essential oils. And that is it.
Hoitzama and welcome to Body Talk. I'm Sarah Spoto, your host and the founder of the Swiss-inspired wellness brand Body. At Body Talk, we bring you spa and sauna recommendations so you can plan your next bathing adventure or get inspired to give sauna or bathing a try. We also feature interviews with experts and professionals in the bathing world, and we dive deep into your questions about bathing rituals and cultural experiences. Our name Body, that's Badii, is inspired by the Swiss German word for bathing. We're American, the Body Talk was born from a love of Switzerland. Let's go. Today, I'm excited to share that we're joined by Sierra Blake. She's the founder and CEO of Saint Lucie Sauna Serum. We had a really great conversation talking about the vision for the brand and for her product, sauna culture in Minnesota, how she is using her business and her sauna serum to really bring joy and connection and community into the sauna and bathing world. She's also a researcher. She does mental health and psychology research. And so we talk about the research that she's doing, as well as any tips and advice for how to interpret studies on sauna and hot and cold exposure. And she has some great recommendations for bathing related media and folks that she's following. So keep listening. We're really excited to have her join us today. And today we have Sierra Blake on the call. Sierra is the founder and CEO of Saint Lucie Sauna Serum. She's based in Minnesota, where she grew up experiencing the benefits of sauna firsthand. Despite the benefits, she noticed that the practice was taking a toll on something unexpected: her hair. After trying many different oils and conditioners and always forgetting that dang hat, she started figuring out what didn't work and what did work. And thus, Sauna Serum was born. Sierra is also pursuing her master's degree in mental health and studying psychological effects of sauna and cold water immersion. And you can learn more at shopstlucie.com, and Lucie is spelled Lucie. And you can find them on Instagram at shopstlucie. So welcome, Sierra. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
So why don't we start with just tell us a bit about yourself, but also how and why you started St. Lucie and where you got your inspiration from.
Oh my gosh, yes. So it has just been a wild ride, a journey from starting it. I just launched it this past fall, so we're
Wow.
still pretty new, yeah, and super exciting. But I was kind of talking about this with a group of friends the other day. Like I was at the sauna and cold plunge gym that I go to here in Minnesota, and I forgot my hat again. I always would
I
forget
do
it.
too, by the way. I always forget.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, why can't I remember this thing?" And I'm like, "I wanna protect my hair because I come here pretty often, right?" And I was thinking, I don't know, it kinda hit me like a lightning strike, to be honest. I thought, "Why isn't there something that people can put in their hair to help
Mm,
protect it in the sauna," you know? And, I just followed that little spark of inspiration and here we are, right? Which is super
so
crazy.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it was just kind of like this thought I had. I'm like, oh, there's like a million hair oils in the world, but there's nothing for this specific purpose, you know? And so yeah, I just went for it.
Yeah, that's the amazing part because, like, well, obviously, the need is totally there, and I agree, and I talk to a lot of women who do sauna a lot, and that's one of the biggest things they talk about is just the how it dries out your hair, especially if you have long hair, and even if you can get it in a hat, like, if you have long hair, you can't get all of it in the hat, and
Yeah.
so and if you're doing it every day or a lot, it does take a toll. So there's a need, but the amazing thing is you also did something about it and you
Yeah.
created something from scratch, which is amazing. And congrats, like in the fall, that's not that long ago. So congrats on
Yeah.
your launch.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, that's the thing. And I kind of talk about it as, I love a sauna hat. I do. I mean, they could be fun, cute, whatever you
Mhm.
want. And I kind of introduce it and talk about it with people as like an add-on, a compliment,
Mhm.
right? So it's sort of like it elevates the experience a little bit in a accessible way. So even if you're not, who amongst us is going to the spa every day? Not I, but like,
Not
it
me
can
either,
not
unfortunately.
sad,
Yeah.
sad, that we're hoping one
Yeah,
day,
one
yeah.
day.
But, it kinda adds that little extra something of self-care, a moment to care for yourself, care for your hair, care for your body, care for your skin, your spirit, your community, like, and that's
Mhm.
kind of how I think about sauna in general, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I do wanna ask, so you can use the serum in your hair, can you use it on your skin as well?
Yes, yes. So
That's
we
great.
created it to be versatile. So, yeah, put it on your hair. I tell folks, put it on your hair. My boyfriend puts it in his beard because he shaves his
Oh,
head. Yeah.
that's a
So,
good one. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, all is welcome. Yeah. But yeah, so hair, skin, beard, whatever. A lot of folks tell me that they put on their hair before and then they get out and you might feel a little bit tight after
Mhm.
your face. So they put it on their face
Oh,
after.
nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a wraparound product, pre, during, post.
That's great.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you talked a little bit about this and mentioned it in your bio, but you grew up kind of having that exposure to sauna and sauna
Mhm.
culture and being in Minnesota, that's the place to be in the States to get that exposure. So can you speak a little bit about that, like growing up and kind of your experience with sauna?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, I mean, I was a kid and, my family had one, like, in their basement,
Wow.
and, so we would, like, go in there as kids, and we didn't really know, like, obviously didn't know health benefits, I didn't know anything, but I liked it.
Mhm.
And I remember going into a steam room, like, with my mom, like, maybe at the gym and stuff, and it was just, like, relaxing or whatever. Um and Yeah, I mean, Minnesota is really this cultural hub, I suppose. We have a lot of Scandinavian folks. We have a lot of people from Finland here. Duluth in particular has kind of always been um uh they have tons of saunas. They're very
Oh,
common, right?
yeah.
And so I saw somewhere Duluth being referred to as the sauna capital of the United States, and I was like, shout out.
Nice. That
Yeah,
checks out because when I think
yeah.
of sauna in the US, I definitely think of Minnesota for sure. So,
You do.
yeah,
Yes, that's
yes.
right. Yes. We're not flyover country, I swear.
No, definitely not. And, I used to live in Michigan and well, I'm from Chicago, and I used to
Yeah.
live in Michigan, and I used to live in Wisconsin, and I always wondered there really isn't a sauna culture there, so it's
Mm,
really cool that Minnesota has that, and, like, I think, being from the Midwest, like, I definitely recognize Minnesota having that culture, and I think that's really unique that you got to grow up with that.
yeah. Yeah. So it's been interesting too because I've traveled a little bit. I was in Colorado not too long ago, and the sauna spot I went to there, they got their build from a builder here in
Oh,
Minnesota. And everywhere I've been kind of going, there people are like, "Oh, Minnesota, yeah, that's who built my thing, or that's who I talked to about it." And so it's kind of like, it's spreading out
yep.
um, all over the United States at a really exponential rate. And I have lots of thoughts and theories as to why that might be. Um, and yeah, it's very cool. I'm happy to be here. I think I feel it's a like I'm like, what a perfect location.
Absolutely. You're, like, at the
Yeah.
edge of sauna culture in America, and, like, that's so it's
I'm like,
really cool.
we have to do something. We're so cold most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, like, it shocked me that, like, Michigan didn't have that same culture, because the weather is similar, And I do think that's how you survive, and that's how I
Yeah.
survived being in Switzerland, so, in the winter, so I can't even imagine, but
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah.
can you, tell us a bit about your vision for Saint Lucie?
So this kind of is all connected to my background in mental
Mm.
health, right?
Mm, okay.
And having I'm finishing up my master's degree in just 2 months. In
Oh,
May I'll be
congrats.
finished. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
big.
Super excited. Yay. But it's been that aspect of like my life and my education really informed kind of what I wanted to create with this brand, right? I see sauna culture and community as a connective experience, and that's the way I've experienced it, right?
Mhm,
Something that you do with others. And it's sort of always been that way for me. And it's something that we talk a lot about, and there's a lot of attention paid to this diminishing third spaces that we
yes.
have, right? And we talk about how sauna may be an antidote to that, right?
Mhm,
This is a place where we gather outside of work, outside of our homes that are just in the community where we can get to know each other and chat with each other. And I've had that experience. And so with St. Lucie, my kind of ethos that's informed me is this joy and connection type of thing, right? And I have big dreams for expanding the brand and the things that it offers that are focused on that.
yeah.
And yeah. So one of the things I was kind of thinking about with St. Lucie is like there's a nostalgic flavor to the brand I think that I've been trying to
Yes, the visual
capture.
identity captures that, I feel
Yes,
like.
thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I've been kind of wanting to lean into that a little bit because, what I've noticed is that people share this with their friends.
Mm,
They say, and it kind of reminds me of, like when I was younger and you would go over to your friend's house and you borrow their shirt or they
yeah.
share their eyeshadow with you
Mhm.
or whatever it is. And as we get older, there's less of that.
Yeah.
There's less of the we're not getting ready to go out or
No
we're
sleepovers or
not
not
having
as
I know it's
many.
so sad.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
what why not? Like I it's just such a anyway, so there's something there as well, like and people usually will have one of these and they'll be like, "Oh, here, try it."
Yeah.
To their friends that they're doing a sauna with and yeah, I think there's something, right? Like,
Yes, it's fostering that community.
just a little bit in
Yeah.
a small way even. And like I think that's how we do it.
Mhm.
I think it's about these little moments. And I know for me, like the people that I've met and become friends with at the sauna place I go to or the number of ones I've gone to, um, yeah, like, there no other way would I have met these people.
Yes.
Like, I work from home, don't we all right now?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty, so I think it's a really special opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that because, like, at Body, we have a similar value around or values around joy and connection and community, and I think just, like, in any way that you can be a part of that, because sauna, like, naturally lends itself to that, and then I love that with your product, like, it's naturally shareable. That's totally what I would do, like, I would want
Yeah.
I feel like that with anything sauna related. I'm always like, I wanna share this experience with people, and like, especially if there's someone else in the sauna and you're already like-minded in that way. And then you also mentioned, I think sauna is a great way to meet people because you meet people that probably don't run in the same circle with
Yeah.
normally a lot of times, right? But you have this shared experience together, which I think is, and the shared interest together.
Yeah, and it's different than the gym or somewhere like that, right?
Yes. Great
Like
point.
yeah, where I'm like, I'm at the gym and I see that person over there 3 times a week. We've never spoken.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And
even, like, yoga classes like that,
yeah,
like, you go to yoga class and, like, that's supposed to be more communal, but you just kinda do your class and then you leave,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, yeah, we don't have that as much in kind of that workout culture, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think too, it kind of it attracts, similar folks to that,
Mm,
right? And so, yeah, and it's a place where you go, no one has their phone, and so you're kind of like
yes.
sitting there with somebody, how's your day? What have you been up to? Or, oh, isn't the weather so, whatever small
Yeah.
conversation it may be. Um, and from that has for me and a lot of other people I've spoken with has grown like friendships that move beyond that space, and we
Mhm.
go get coffee and we find out that we both love, you know, whatever something, and can go and do that together or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I just I met, somebody at a sauna in Copenhagen, and then we recently reconnected. Like, just so
Love.
cool,
Yeah.
like, why that's just how it is. That's just, like, sauna
Yeah.
culture for you. I love that.
I know. It's so nice too. And like it gets harder as you get older to make those friendships or to make new
Mhm.
friends, right? Because we're busy and people have kids and they're married and they're this and they're that. And so, yeah, I've just loved it.
It's great. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. I wanna go, pivot back a little bit to the serum because I know the listeners are gonna be very curious, what's in it? What are the ingredients
Yeah.
and, what makes it so effective and kinda unique to other products that are out there?
Yes. So this is, we love to say, the world's first sauna serum.
Amazing. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yes. But so yeah, it's jojoba oil, rosehip sunflower seed oil, rosemary extract, clary sage, and grapefruit essential oils. And that is it, right? So very simple ingredient list. Just 6 things in there. Jojoba oil in particular, for the base, I love this oil, right? It's kind of like a magical oil to me. It's very hardy. It's actually technically a wax, which is shocking to a
Oh,
lot of
I didn't
people.
know that.
Technically a wax ester, yes. And so, it creates a protective barrier around the hair strands. It can also withstand temperatures of 300 plus degrees without breaking down.
Wow.
So it's very, very hardy, right? However, it's also super light. So it is the oil that's most similar to the sebum that already exists on our skin naturally.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it soaks in super quick, which I wanted because, I hate that feeling of like
Sits on there,
sticky.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, why am I sticky? Why am I?
Mhm.
I don't like that.
I feel like
So
it did,
yeah,
like, yeah, like, almost you wanna wash it off, like you get
yeah.
too much on. Yeah.
And I'm like, ew, this is weird. But so we wanted to make it very light. So it's the jojoba and rosehip play very, very well together as well. Rosehip, super popular face oil ingredient. Same with the rosemary extract for hair oils. So rosemary extract is super popular because it helps with circulation.
Okay.
So, yeah, so the dryness that may occur from the very high temperatures of the sauna, right, kind of helps bring the blood flow to the scalp and to the skin,
Mm.
which is something you're already getting in the sauna, right? It's kind of helping the cardiovascular system is working, right? And so, yeah, it creates that protective barrier, but then also very, very nourishing. And the rosehip and jojoba together specifically, like, kind of amplify each other and
Hmm.
help to have it soak even deeper into your skin and to work even be more nourishing. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It sounds
Yeah.
beautiful. Sounds like it
Yes.
smells amazing. So
Yes. It's a
yeah.
yes. Thank you. I'll have to send you some.
Sierra was kind enough to send me a bottle of her sauna serum. It does smell amazing. It instantly reminds me of the sauna, almost a woodsy sort of scent, but very fresh. And it absorbs really well. It's not heavy or sticky, but very soft and smooth. I use it on my hair, but also on my hands because it absorbs so nicely that it's a nice way to hydrate your skin in the sauna too.
Yeah, so it's scented with essential oils, so it's grapefruit,
Oh,
clary, sage, yes, and so, very mild, kind of earthy, refreshing scent,
beautiful.
not too overpowering, you don't wanna be, like, sitting next to somebody and
It's
be,
a
like,
great
worried about
point.
that, yeah.
Yes, great point. Yeah.
Yeah, so very mild, but still, this earthy kind of natural scent. And people love it, actually. People comment on that all the time, which has been cool.
That's
So,
very
yeah.
cool. I wanna talk a bit about your master's too, and
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you've been super busy, but I'm curious, like, how has your personal sauna experience informed your research and your choice of study? Because it must have inspired you to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. No, yeah. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it's kind of all of these things have converged together for me, right? So, I
Yeah.
feel like I have like 12 plates spinning or
Yeah,
something.
but they're
It's
all
like,
sauna
but they're all
related. Yeah.
sauna related to my whole personality.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, me as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what I tell people now. And so yeah, so I started this master's degree in fall 22. And we're learning all about mental health, right? All these things. The loneliness epidemic, the Surgeon General kind of announced a few years ago, right? Even and COVID had happened, in 2020, 2021, and people were very, very isolated. And it took a mental health for across the world
Mm,
took a massive, I mean, people were feeling so anxious and so depressed, right? Amongst other things. And so I think all of these things kind of converged. And then we're coming out of the pandemic and people are able to gather again and kind of realizing how important and central that is to the human experience. And we are social creatures. We need each other, right?
mhm.
Um that's just kind of how we are built, you know? And so that's when you saw also the sauna market really explode, is
Yes.
post, COVID, and even during COVID because people were staying home and what do I do here, right? But
Right.
when we get into community sauna, it's that post-COVID, spike, right?
Mhm.
And I started going to, Embrace North, shout out to them in Minnesota, around 2021-ish or 2022, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." Like, I fell in
Mhm.
love with it right away, right? And it was this convergence of that community piece, getting out, especially in the winter, getting warm,
Yes.
feeling like I'm doing something good for my body. I was sleeping it was helping me, sleep better. I noticed my sleep improving. I noticed I wasn't so the winters are tough. They can be tough. You're in Switzerland, or you were,
Yeah.
and
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 Connecticut
it
I'm in Connecticut now,
and
it's not much
Connecticut.
actually, it's worse, I think, worse
Yeah,
winter, but yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But
I
I
would have guessed
survived
that.
thanks to
Yeah.
sauna. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Shout
Yeah.
out. Yeah, we love you, Finland, for
Yeah.
giving us this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, and so it was kind of all of these things, right, that merged together for me, and I thought, "There's something here." And so I started digging into the research behind it.
Mhm.
And some really brilliant folks are working on it. There's Dr. Ashley Mason, who is out in San Francisco. She's a psychology PhD, and she's doing some really interesting work on hyperthermia. So that's raising the body's temperature to fight or to treat depression. And
Mm.
so she's published some really compelling results for that. And then there's Dr. Eric Lee, who's in Canada right now. He's a exercise medicine PhD, and so his focus is more on the physical body
Uh-huh.
and that cardiovascular system, the maybe cortisol hormones, the physical reaction that's happening either in the sauna or the cold. Um, but my area is mental health and psychology. And so Ashley, Dr. Mason is, yeah, she's kind of leading that charge. And so I've chatted with her a couple times and she's like super smart and given me some great advice for my own study, which I've been working on for quite a while. And so we want to look at the psychological effects of sauna and cold water immersion on individuals who are in recovery from substance use disorders. So, should I just go?
Yes, because I'm just gonna ask you about it. So, yes, please, anything that you feel comfortable sharing because I'm super
Yeah.
curious and our listeners are gonna really be excited to hear about it.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been working on this study for a while, and what we want to do, or what my kind of conceptualization of it is I think there's a lot of things to look at there, right? But what we're going to look at is mood and substance cravings. Another component that's interesting to maybe tease apart is the community based aspect of it,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, is there a difference between when people sauna alone or when they sauna with other people?
Oh,
Um, yeah, because we talk about that, right, as kind of a
yeah.
central piece. And so, is it the social connective
Hmm.
aspect to it that is kind of bringing forth these feelings that people report, which is what we know now, and sort of the edge of the research, if you will, currently is people say they feel relaxed, and people say they like it. And
Yeah.
that's basically it. There's a lot of information out there, right? And it's all very exciting, and lots of studies are out there that are all very compelling. And it is the one thing I will say about research, though, and I'm echoing Dr. Lee and Dr. Mason here. They just gave a talk a few weeks ago that I went to, and uh, is cautioning against generalizing.
Yes.
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 So a
Great
lot of
point.
studies have been done. One that people cite frequently was done in Finland with I think 2,000 men that are native to Finland. And so the control group for that was people who sauna once a week, because there's nobody in Finland that saunas 0 times,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah.
and so, and we love that for them and for me as well. But yeah, so, and it was a very a narrow population, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Men,
That's the other
middle-aged.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, yes, the results are compelling, they're promising, they're interesting, and we are looking into it. And it's a very exciting time to be involved in it. And I also say, even as a researcher myself, I say, if you like it, it makes you feel good, who cares?
It's a great point.
You know?
Yes, that's right. I thank you
Yeah.
for that perspective, and I think, like, well, this is something that I struggle with, and I'm sure my listeners do too. There's just, like, so much out there where you're some of it I think is like pseudoscience, or maybe not pseudoscience, maybe that's too strong of a word, but like very generalized kind
Mm,
of like descriptors of the benefits of sauna and like cold immersion and stuff. And if you really want to, you know, you want to be, precise and, like really be cognizant of the science, I think it can be hard if you're not science, trained to really suss out what's relevant. But I think it's a great tip to think like, well, take a step back and think about how do you feel just having that
yeah.
experience and like, you know, does that matter so much, some of these specific nuances, like these benefits that people are touting, or what are your own personal benefits and like taking time to reflect on that and say, I like it, or I feel more
Mhm.
relaxed, or, whatever, it helps me get through the winter, or I find my community there, and those are good enough reasons to do it, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is really hard. And honestly, like, even though I've kind of been immersed in this research world, I mean, it's confusing and
Yeah.
it
I'm
doesn't
glad you're
make
saying that because think about me, I'm just like, "What?" Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so they put, 7 people, they did it this or whatever. And a lot of studies are behind a paywall, so you can't get to them.
Yeah.
And and well, that's a whole other conversation. But like, and so for just folks interested in the practice, it's very trendy right now, or I wouldn't even say trendy. I just think it's coming over to the United States in a big way.
Mhm.
And I think it's here to stay. I mean, it is too I mean, it's an ancient
Yes.
thing. It's ancient and has existed in Turkey and Japan and Finland and Switzerland and all over the world for, I mean, thousands of years, right? And so for people who are like, "Oh, it's trendy." I'm like, "No, I think, I think we're kind of just
Yeah.
yeah.
2,000 years. Is it a trend or is it yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it here to stay? I feel pretty confident. Yeah, so and we're just kind of, getting our teeth into it here,
Mhm.
right, in a more substantial way, which I think is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually wanna dig into that with you a little bit, and I think that's such a great thing, and I feel like I say the same thing too to people all the time, because I was living in Baden, Switzerland, where they have, the Roman baths, right, the thermal baths, so it's literally, like, 2,000 years of bathing culture, and it's like, I know that's in Europe, but yeah, it's not a trend, right? But I wanna talk more about this with you, like, how does it, especially because 'cause you're from Minnesota, right? So, like, you grew up, I think in this unique environment in the States, being exposed to sauna earlier on, me coming from Chicago, which is not that far away, I didn't see a sauna until I think honestly, really going to Switzerland a few years ago, like in any significant way. So, yeah, what's your reaction to this growing bathing culture and sauna culture in the States? And what is exciting and what's maybe like, what are some like watch outs or like things that make you a little nervous about it?
Yeah, well, I think it's awesome. I'm, like, very excited about it. I think that, it's something I love to do, and as I've kind of talked about my mental health background and my focus on this, community aspect to it, I really feel like there's a lot of promise there, and can be this, like, really amazing thing. It's sort of an equalizer, right? Like, we're all in
Mhm.
the sauna and we're all, like, sweaty and gross and feeling like whatever, and we're just like,
Yes.
"Yeah, like, this is totally fine." It kind of releases you of maybe your earthly trappings, or if you will, right?
Yes, yes.
Like, you can kind of just be, and it's such a nice thing. Um, I will say for myself, so when I first started, doing cold plunge and sauna, I was very, like, regimented about it,
Okay.
and I would be like, "Okay, 15 minutes in, 3 minutes in the cold, back in,"
Wow.
very,
It's a
like,
long time in the
serious.
cold. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
I
done
know.
that's good for you. You have
Like,
some discipline from the
oh,
beginning.
I guess. I was
Yeah.
like, why am I doing this?" Because I heard that was, like, the best
Yes,
way.
right.
I
Yes,
get,
yes, yes. That's
yeah,
the
and so
type of information we're fed in the States, I think, in
yeah,
particular, right?
yeah,
Like the sort of biohacking, performance improving
yes.
regimen. So, yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and it becomes more about, right, the physical benefits. How can I add something on to my, the training I do in the gym? How can I
Mhm.
optimize that? How can I, um, you know, use this as a tool to
Yes.
yeah, kinda squeeze more out of that, right? And, um I've never been kind of inclined that way. But it's interesting, actually, my partner is a personal trainer and goes to the gym all the
Ah.
time. So he has an interesting uh take on it too, because we used to sauna and cold plunge together and stuff.
Yeah.
But I come from a more mental health
Mhm.
side, and not to cut the head off at the neck. I mean, it's really all one thing,
Yes.
So there's that as well, but yeah, I think I tend to lean away more from the biohacking and optimization of how to uh live to be 150 or so. I don't know. Like
Yes, I know. Yeah.
and I'm like, no, I'm okay. I just really like it. And so, that's kind of the same thing. Like, yes, I'm involved in this research and yes, I think it's important because
Mhm.
if we want to use it as a treatment for, people who are recovering from substance use or for depression or whatever it may be, we need proof so that insurance companies will care, right?
Mhm.
And so that's what science is for. And it helps inform policy as well. So yeah, important. Um, but also, you know, I don't know. People ask me all the time, like, "Well, how long do you stay in the sauna?" I'm like, "Until I want to get out, man. I don't
Yes.
know."
And it varies, at least for
Yeah,
me, because, like, am I hydrated enough? Did I work out before?
yeah,
Or maybe I haven't been in the sauna for a couple weeks and, like, I just wanna get out after 10 minutes, and
yeah,
like, I always tell people, because people ask me the same thing, and it's like, "Oh, remember it's not a competition with yourself or with anybody else.
yeah,
Like, you don't need to push yourself to stay 20 minutes in the sauna if you don't feel good." Like,
yeah,
you know, I it's about what makes you feel good and what you wanna do, and there's no point
yeah,
in that competition, I think, anyway.
yeah. No, 100. I totally agree. I also think Susanna Soberg, who is like
Oh, yes.
the ice plunge queen, she came out a few weeks ago and kind of said, "Hey, like, um, this thermic cycle, right?" And she talks a lot about cold plunging. She
Mhm.
basically is like, "There's no extra benefits. Like, it's like if you do
Yes.
2 to 3 minutes, like that's basically as much as you're gonna get. If you do 10 or something, it's not exponential, right? It
Yes.
kinda just stops, and
Yeah.
so and I think too, like, there's, like, safety stuff, right? We
Yes.
don't wanna, like, be too cold, like, that's not good, but so, yeah, I think I've tried to reframe it for myself, right, in the past couple of years as, like, more of a thing that is centered around enjoyment.
Mhm.
And like less about, I don't know, feeling like it needs to be this regimented thing. Cause sometimes I do want to sit in the cold for a little bit, and some days I don't want to
Mhm.
go in at all.
Yeah.
And I just, I would go walk around outside or something, or
Yes.
sit down in the snow or like whatever.
Yeah.
And that felt good to me at that time. And yeah, and I just think, yeah, let yourself, like, enjoy it, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, and I think it's so interesting because so I've recently moved from back from Switzerland to the States, and so, like, my first exposure to sauna and bathing culture really was in Europe, basically, and, like, there isn't the same narrative about using cold exposure, heat exposure to be more productive or to improve your performance or to improve optimization. Like, that feels quite uniquely American kind of narrative that we're hearing, and I think what I've noticed, at least in, like, Switzerland and Europe, is it is more toward to kinda how you describe it, where it's a cultural thing and a community thing, but you're also doing it because you wanna reduce stress, or you just wanna take time away from your phone, or you wanna spend time in nature, or, it's winter and you wanna be somewhere warm, and so, there isn't the same sort of, like, optimization pressure and, like, narrative around it, and that's what I hope makes it to America. Like, I'm glad that we're even having, that people are interested in cold and hot exposure and sauna and bathing, and I appreciate that we're kind of coming in through this lens of optimization to start, but I hope it expands beyond that to be more inclusive and, people feel like they can do it just because they wanna do it and it's fun and they enjoy it.
Yes. Yes, I think you really hit the nail on the head with that. I totally agree. I mean, and it's not really a surprise, right? Like, we and not to get all, whatever, totally expansive about American culture, but, I mean, we're from here, right? And, this exceptional individualism,
Yeah.
productivity, culture. I mean, it's interesting too because I suppose I'm not super familiar. I've never been to Japan or anything, but they have bathing culture there that's very, very ancient. And they
Yes.
also are um, have an ethos of work hard and all that stuff, like similar
Mhm.
to here. And so I would wonder about that
Oh,
experience or that difference.
yeah.
And so I mean, um as the world, like globalization, expands, right? Where we live in a digital age, and so we can connect with people everywhere all the
Mhm.
time. And yeah, and this, I mean, yeah, that's an interesting thing to consider, right? Um, the very uniquely maybe American expectations of being the best you can be and,
Yes.
et cetera, which is, like,
Yeah.
fine, yeah, be the best
Yeah.
yeah, be the best you can be, totally, for sure, but also it leaks in to other
Yes.
places and,
Yeah.
it becomes, well, this is sort of somewhat related, but I, used to do like collage art and stuff
Mm,
like that,
cool.
and just for fun, right? And I've had this experience with other folks too, or this conversation, and I used to do this, and then I decided, oh, I should start selling them.
Yes,
And
so
then I
so
thought,
American.
oh, I thought, for
Yeah.
God's sake,
Yeah.
I can't draw the stupidest picture ever in my like little sketchbook without thinking maybe would someone would like to purchase this from me. And yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for, you know, maybe resisting that impulse or, you know, doing things just for the enjoyment of doing them.
Yes.
Right? And reintroducing that, you know?
Yes. Oh, that's such a good analogy because I think, like a lot of people ask me for sauna tips, and I think it comes from a place of like, I want to be good at this, right? Like I want to do it
Yeah,
right. And I get that because we don't have a culture of that, right? So like folks in Germany and Switzerland and Finland and they grow up experiencing it, so they know how to kind of like operate in a sauna, right? And they know the etiquette and stuff. And we don't necessarily know that, but maybe some of it comes from, oh, I want to just do it right. And I want to do it, and it's like, if you listen to your body and yourself and like stay in tune to that, and don't overdo it, then go with the flow. Like, you don't have to put a ton of pressure on being like a sauna master at this experience.
yeah,
Like, that's not the point. Or even like, yeah, oh, I got to get my heart rate up to a certain level. Like, I got to stay in the cold water for X amount of time to get the benefits. Like, just let that stuff, let that go and have the experience and let like your intuition, how you're feeling guide you.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I totally feel that. Yeah, I mean, I think too, you're so right about the etiquette, right? I have a friend who was just, I think he was over in Germany, and he's like, yeah, I went and like went to this sauna place. Everybody was naked, everybody's drinking beer,
Yes.
everybody was chopping their own wood, and everybody was having a great old time. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool, you know? That would never happen here.
No, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bummer, bummer, but yeah, so it's just interesting. He's like, I didn't know what I should do, like how I
Yes.
should be there. And so it's a different, but here, right? Yeah, what's the etiquette? Do I ask before I put water on the rocks,
Right.
for example?
Yep.
Do I whatever, do I listen to my headphones with music?
Mm.
Or
And
do
do
I
you
bring my phone in?
chat
Yeah, do
or
I
not
chat?
chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I know if someone wants to chat? Should I leave a little, whatever? And so, yeah, I was talking to somebody else who saunas at their gym, and I was like, "Do people talk in there?" And she said, "No." And I was like,
Oh.
"Really?" I would immediately cause a bad vibe because I would be like,
Yes.
"Hey."
For sure, but that's fu yeah, like, the gym sauna is such an interesting one. That's, like, I think
Yeah.
where most Americans get their exposure to sauna, but
Mhm.
it's like the etiquette okay, I don't wanna say it's, like, right or wrong because we're making
No.
up our own etiquette, but, like,
Yeah.
people will go in their, like in their workout gear and then, yeah, like, not talk, or
Yeah.
keep their headphones on. It's just different and, like, so
Yeah.
I guess what we need is more variety of sauna experiences so people can find, like, what resonates for them because, yeah, if I typically like to chat in the sauna,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, but you're
so
so yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're so right, like, whatever you wanna do too, so, like, if it's some folks like the place I go has a quiet sauna, and so
Yeah.
people can go and, like, read their book or, listen to their music or have more of a, like,
Mm,
meditative internal experience, which is really nice, too, so, like,
yes.
I think you're right, having, variety and options
Mhm.
for what feels like what you wanna do today. I like that they have it at the same place too, because sometimes I go and I'm like, yeah, I wanna have more of this kind of internal experience today, so I'm gonna go sit in that one. And that's really nice, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think yeah, for sure, to have choose your own adventure, if you will.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's what I think that's what we need more of in the States. It's just more variety like you have in other parts of the world around bathing culture, so let's see
Yeah.
if it gets there.
We'll see.
We're trying. Both
Yeah.
of us are trying to
If
actively
you're
be a part of
listening,
it.
sauna sauna people,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Keep doing it.
gather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Alright, so I did wanna ask you, what bathing and sauna culture media you're, like, reading or listening to right now. You mentioned a couple studies, which is really exciting, but, like, anything
Yeah.
else, or and folks, like, people that you're following in the space.
Yeah, yeah. I think, local to here, Embrace North is really great. Superior Sauna and Steam, are doing really, really awesome things. And they send their saunas all over the United States. They are builders and they also have an experience that you can go to.
Mm,
Jen Virali is a really, great woman to I've known her for a few years and she started an event called Sauna and Sobriety.
yes, I've heard of
And
this.
yes, yes, yes. And so they do some really cool stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of there's so many more popping up every day and I just love to see it. And it's been so fun to kinda get in the middle of that and,
Yes.
be involved with it and watch it as it continues to grow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I agree, I love it, I mean, like, I was involved in bathing culture, but before launching Body, doing that in a different capacity as just, like, a sauna user, right? Like, but to be in it now, yeah, as a business owner and, like, actively kind of shaping the culture here in the States, it's really cool, and the
yeah,
community is so welcoming, I find, and there's just interesting people building it and doing some
yeah.
amazing things.
Yes, yeah, it's been very cool. There's also a guy, Glenn Auerbach. He is the owner of Sauna Times. And so he's local to Minnesota as well, but he's kinda, um a central figure, right? And
Mm,
kind of shaping this. And he's been so great, very supportive of the research behind it, and just a great guy. Has been using the sauna for 25 years or something, like way before all of us youngsters came
yeah.
around to,
Yes. Yeah.
whatever. But he's super great. So, yeah, I mean, it's been lovely. I think um everyone I've met has just been such a joy to know, and, yeah, there's just so many cool folks doing a lot of cool stuff, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I would hope, I hope, like, the sauna community, like, people are chill and welcoming, and
Yeah.
they are. So,
Yeah, 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 I
yeah.
would imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Whatever,"
Yes.
like, "Yeah, come on, hang out." Yeah, it's been lovely, I think, and, Yeah, I continue to enjoy it so much for sure.
That's great.
Mhm.
Well, I do wanna ask, how can folks best experience Saint Lucie or Sauna Serum?
Yeah.
And also if they wanna get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Yes. So you can find Saint Lucie on Instagram at shop Saint Lucie, Lucie. Also, our website is shopstlucie.com. And yeah, feel free to hit us up. We have a whole list of retailers that you can find us at, and from Alabama, California, Minnesota. We have our first retailer over in Scotland as of
Congrats.
thank you. So very exciting. So yeah, I mean, we're kind of all over the place now. So feel free to check us out in person or online. And yeah,
That's great. I think we need to
yeah,
get you to Connecticut. So,
yeah,
next
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love
so
to.
Connecticut listeners, okay? Comment, follow St. Lucie Pressure, Sierra to bring
To
you to
come
Connecticut.
here. Yes, I will do it. If you insist, I will.
I
Yeah.
love it. That's
Yes, no
amazing.
problem.
Sierra, thank you so much for joining Body Talk, and, we hope to have you back someday. I think maybe you can talk more about your research, later as well, and as you
Yes.
expand with St. Lucie, and we'll be keeping an eye on your business too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Yes, what an honor. It's so fun to chat with you. And yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I love hearing from you all, so please comment with any suggestions or thoughts. This is a one-person operation at the moment. In other words, just me. I've quit my corporate job and I'm following my crazy passion for bathing. So your engagement and support really means a lot. Follow us on Instagram at body.life, that's BADII.LIFE, and visit our website at body.life if you want to subscribe to our Body Talk newsletter. Tschüss.